It's the #2 film at the box office across the country, but did you know the story of Oppenheimer includes a chapter from right here in Chicago? A monument at the University of Chicago marks the spot of the first controlled nuclear reaction on December 2nd, 1942. The research and work done there paved the way for Oppenheimer's work and would eventually lead to war, but it also launched life-changing scientific discoveries for good, like energy use and medical developments.
It was also the start of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, the group that monitors the doomsday clock, nuclear risk, climate change, and disruptive technologies. Rachel Bronson is the president and CEO of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, the nonprofit organization that oversees all of that, and she joins us live. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So tell us what your take is on the Oppenheimer film, and why do you think it's resonating so much with people now?
It's a great question. I think the reason it's resonating now is it speaks to this uncertainty and this moment that we're experiencing of technology moving very quickly and having a difficult time understanding it, bringing great benefits, but also a lot of dangers. And we think about that with nuclear weapons. There's a lot of issues with new technologies, particularly artificial intelligence, which is a topic of conversation.
I think sometimes we say, okay, well, we're going to look at the past and learn from the past, but it certainly feels that way with AI right now, where it seems like government policy is somewhat lagging behind the pace of technology, which seems very resonant to what happened with the atomic bomb.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the important parallels is that in Oppenheimer, we saw the scientists begging for us to figure out how to regulate nuclear technologies, how to ensure we didn't get into an arms race with the Soviet Union. And the parallel to artificial intelligence is we see now the leaders of artificial intelligence begging for regulation, pay attention to this, huge benefits, but they're also seeing a danger that we're not fully appreciating.
What was when you saw this, do you feel like they did justice to Oppenheimer in this film?
They really did do justice to Oppenheimer. They kind of captured the excitement and enthusiasm of this new technology that the scientists were on the cusp of developing in the context of a war in which millions were dying and tens of thousands every day were on the line. And also his later understanding, his desperation to figure out how to make it reduce deaths in the future for war, and trying desperately to get the politicians' attention to that. And ultimately, he's cast aside. There's something else that's resonating today, which is if we don't, we need the scientists for climate change. We need them for all these, but the moment we don't like what they're saying, we cast them aside. We see that with Anthony Fauci around pandemics and during COVID, the kind of marginalizing them and the death threats that health providers got. There's this, we have this in the United States of building up our scientists and experts and then casting them aside when we no longer need them. We see that happen to Oppenheimer.
So many of us knew Oppenheimer as the father of the atomic bomb, but what many of us didn't know, and what you've just mentioned, is that later on in life, and when he passed away, he was a broken man. And he went through quite a tumultuous period of his life and toward the end.
He was. One of the reasons at the Bulletin we spend so much time thinking about him is he chaired our first board of sponsors. He was the first chair. He worked very intentionally to try to regulate the technologies that he and his colleagues created. He was determined, he was engaged in the political process. He died a broken man. He had a security clearance pulled from him. Questions were raised about his loyalty. Someone who viewed himself as undertaking some of the most loyal actions and patriotic actions in his mind of an American.
Wow. Well, the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists is hosting an Oppenheimer screening. It's this Saturday afternoon at 2 at the Music Box Theater in Lakeview. That one's sold out, and you're going to have another one, is that right?
Yeah, we've been asked to come back on August 6th, which is the anniversary of the Hiroshima bombing, for a panel to discuss it, so I hope people can join us.
Yeah. Rachel, thank you so much, and if they want more information, do they go to a website to find out about that?
They can go to the Music Box Theater or at thebulletin.org events.
Great. Thanks for being here.